A restrictive covenant is a covenant imposing a restriction on the use and enjoyment of land. It's an obligation created by deed not to use land in a certain way, put in place for the benefit of another's land. In certain circumstances, both the benefit and the burden of a restrictive covenant can pass to successors in title to each of the parties to the original agreement that contained the restrictive covenant. They are often imposed as a result of the sale of land where the seller retains adjoining land and wants to control what the buyer and their successors can do on the land sold. Examples of typical restrictive covenants include not building on certain parts of a site, or building more than a specified number of dwellings, or building above a specified height. Also, not using land in a certain way. Some restrictive covenants require consent from the landowner holding the benefit of the covenant. These can cause particular problems if it is not clear who has the benefit of the covenant, especially where land has been subdivided and sold on. A court injunction or a payment of damages are the main remedies for breach of a restrictive covenant. Delay in taking action may lead the court to decline to make any order at all. The principal question is whether the covenant is enforceable, and if so, by whom. The steps required to obtain an answer are complex. The answer will depend on when the covenant was entered into, how it is worded, and whether it has been correctly registered. Assuming a covenant is enforceable, depending on the circumstances, there are essentially three options. Firstly, insurance. Sometimes it is possible to procure an insurance policy to cover the risk of enforcement action against you. The premium will depend on the insurer's assessment of the risk, and it is vital you disclose all information to the insurer. Most insurers will refuse to provide cover if you have already approached the person with the benefit of the covenant. You shouldn't speak to anyone about the covenant until you have sought legal advice. There's also the option of negotiation. If the beneficiary of the covenant is known, it may be possible to negotiate a release or modification, usually in return for a payment being made. Another option is making an application to court. There's a process to apply for covenants to be modified or removed. Each case is decided on its own facts. Your lawyer can advise you on such applications. Whether you believe you have the right to enforce a covenant or are uncertain whether or not you are bound by one, our lawyers in the dispute resolution team will be able to advise as to the best course of action for you. For further information or to make an appointment, please contact me, Jenny Kemp.